We have, which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? We have water vapor. Okay, so which is not a greenhouse gas? We have A, water vapor, okay, B, nitrogen, C, carbon dioxide, and D, methane. Okay, so now with this is more of a conceptual question. We can work through this, but typically it's one of those things where you kind of have to know. But let's try to apply as much logic as we can to these four. So let's start with water vapor. Water vapor, water is always, just how we have precipitation, condensation, water is always switching states. It goes from liquid to gas, gas to liquid, liquid to solid when it's snowing and such. The point being is that even around you, the humidity, for example, humid places have a lot of water vapor around them. So there is a hard thing to say where there's literally zero water vapor. That is typically always going to be present in our atmosphere. Okay, so water vapor would not be the choice we'd go with. Nitrogen, I know that there's a bit of nitrogen typically in the soil, for example, but in terms of the gases that we breathe in, it's not typical that you'd hear about nitrogen in the gas. I mean, nitrogen in the air we breathe. Carbon dioxide, funny enough, greenhouse gas, these are like, where plants are held typically, that would be what they usually produce. They're taking in oxygen and producing carbon dioxide. So that would definitely be present there, okay? And now for the last one, methane. Funny enough, this is the sneaky one. Methane is also, I guess, when fruits ripen and such, and things like that, this is actually one of the gases that they produce as they're ripening. As far as I can remember, methane is actually quite present in greenhouse gases, okay, CH4, and it does have to go through with the whole fermentation procedure. I don't know the formula off the top of my head, but I do know that methane can be one of the products when fruits are ripening, like your bananas and such like that. And the more methane gas present, the quicker typically things like to ripen. That one, I would just double check if I were you. I do think that is the case, but my memory may be a little bit foggy in regards to that. But nonetheless, I would say methane is definitely present. And as I said, the only one that I'm not sure about is nitrogen, because I only hear about it, there needs to be a certain soil concentration of nitrogen, but I don't really hear it about being a gas present, even in the greenhouse or even in the air we breathe currently, okay? So with that being said, as my colleague said, the answer choice would be B. And their logic is, yes, water vapor, carbon dioxide, and methane are among the most common greenhouse gases, and nitrogen is not. So with these type of questions, I do emphasize that when this information is not memorized, we try to apply and go step by step and try to go by just the best choice, crossing out the ones that don't really make sense. So we could definitely cross out water vapor and carbon dioxide. It was just between methane and nitrogen. I only was able to cross out methane because I knew that fact about the whole fermentation, and even that may be a little bit off, but I just was more familiar with methane being present. So for these, whether it's more in the biological realm, I would just emphasize just going through and really reviewing your notes when it comes to greenhouse gases, and just trying to make it as applicable as possible when you talk about each individual gas present, okay? So let's move on to the next question, question number 18.